everyone. Good evening, everyone. Please, if you can hear me, just say hi. Let me see if you can hear me. Hi. Hmm. Wow. This thing is like they've changed it though. Hi, guys. Can you hear me? LES matters. I don't understand this place again. Thank you for coming. Good evening, everyone. I didn't even know that they changed this thing. Okay. So now that they changed it, what to do here? Oh my God. Let me not come and disgrace my village people. I don't even know what is going on. Hi everyone. LES matters. I'm trying to copy the link, but I don't know what is happening here. I'm trying to drop the link. Thank you all so much, everyone, for coming. I really appreciate you all. I welcome you all here. Okay. Okay, I think I've seen the place. Okay. Aha. I got it. Thank you everyone for coming. I really appreciate you all. Thank you so much, Every Lucky, Chidera TV. Thank you, LES Matters. Thank you, Everyday Matters. I see you. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate you all for coming. I don't take this for granted. So today, as you all know, we have a guest in our midst. But before then, hold on, guys. You all know that I have a series going on right now. So let me say this is the first episode of the series, parenting series. So this series is all about parenting, things that tips on parenting. But today we are talking about educators, and the purpose of this particular video about educators is that for us as a parent to know what to expect from our children, from anyone taking care of our children, educators, yeah, teachers taking care of our children, because we hand our children over to them for hours, so we really want to know what to expect from them, to what to look out for, what are their duties, and also for people who want to be an educator, for them to know what they are. Okay, LES matters, for them to know what their duties are. So this is the purpose of this live video, and I hope we interact. Just if you have any tips also, please leave it in the comment section. If you have a question, also leave it in the comment section. I will appreciate the communication, and we appreciate the interaction. So we have our guest, LES Matters. LES Matters is going to take over to this live stream, because she has to this live stream. She has to this live stream. So before then, I want to ask, does any of you know that LES Matters? She's a YouTuber. She's an educator, and on her YouTube, she discussed about early years childhood. I love her channel, because this is I'm not saying it because I'm trying to introduce her, but I'm really saying it from my heart. I love her channel because there are things that she talks about, and now I'm 30, and anytime I watch her channel, I'm like, does this thing really happen now earlier, because I never experienced these things. I always say it. I don't even know anything about my childhood. I can't even remember apart from one pain or the other. So this her channel really brought a lot of things to me, and her channel also is helping me a lot to follow up with my children. Those things that I missed growing up, I really want to follow up with my children. So that is what her channel is all about. Everything concerning children, early years childhood. So I have this. This is her book. It's on Amazon. If you've not gotten this book, I will appreciate every one of us to get it. It's from Amazon. It's her book. You will see it there once you type. I forgot what I searched it with, but here it's written a practical guide to early years matters. So it's a very nice book for you as a parent and also an educator for you to um help your children. So let me not talk too much, Yari. If Early Years Matters is in the building, I will love her to come up and take over today's live stream because I also am a guest. Yes, today is for you, Early Years Matters. Today is for you because me, I'm a guest. So please, if Early Years, of course, I got it. Why not? I got the book. I got the book. I've been going through it for God knows how long because you have interesting things here or inside this book. You have interesting things. Anytime I just want to read it, if I'm reading it, I'll like, does these things really happen? Because I didn't know. I didn't know. So I'm urging every one of you as a parent to get this book. It's very, 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 very good. It will help you as a parent. It will help you as an educator. So I don't want to stay too long. I know that anytime I come here, I always say I don't want to stay too long. But today I promise I won't stay too long. If Early Years Matters is will come up right now to take over the stage, then I won't take too long. As we're waiting for Early Years Matters, let's talk. Please leave your answer in the comment section. What do you understand? Okay, let me rephrase. Who is an educator to you watching me right now? Who is an educator to you? Please leave your answer in the comment section right now. Who is an educator? Early Years Matters, we are waiting for you, please. So, who is an educator? For me, an educator is someone who cares for children, who teach children, yeah, who teach children, who help them to learn, yeah, who help them to learn basic things about life in general. And for me personally, I refer to an educator. Namaka, please go and get the book. It's on Amazon. I can share the link with you later. So, to me, an educator is a I would call them a co-parental because they are they are also parents to the children. Imagine when you leave your children with them for hours. What are they doing? They are taking care of your children. They are responsible for your children. Anything that happens at that moment, they are responsible. So I also see them as parents to the children. And an educator is someone who works hand to hand with the biological parents of the children. So this is who I see as an educator. And so to you, who is an educator? I don't know why there's something here. I don't know if you guys can see my face like this, but down here there is something like it's blank. I don't know. Please, guys, can you help me? Is it showing over there? Here, over here, there's something like it's blank. I'm just seeing just my head. I'm just seeing just my head. You can see me all here. I don't know what is that showing me one kind. I don't know why. So guys, this is who I see as an educator. And again, before as we wait for our guests, I will also put it out there that because of these things that is going on, especially in Nigeria, I won't call any other country because I don't know how their system works there. But here, oh my God, my network. I beg you. So, what is going on right now in Nigeria about these children that they are all that teachers? I know that yes, many people will say that we went through a teachers flog you, that is part of the process of learning, process of teaching. But I really don't know how someone will, like the one that happened recently, 1 year and 7 months old baby. They had to flog this child. I don't know how someone who takes care of children can be this, will I say mean, or will I say heartless? I don't even know the word to use, or ignorant. Will I say it's ignorant? I don't even know the right word to use, but I don't know how they feel doing such thing, flogging a child of 1 year and 7 months. And the way they even flogged this child, I don't know what came over them. I still don't know if I should say it's ignorance or if I should say it's madness. I heard that they tied the child's hand. One person was holding the child's leg while the other one was holding the hand, and they were flogging the child. And this caused the child, I forgot what they called this thing. It's a shock, you know. It's a shock. Okay, no problem. So they said it's a shock, and the child died of it. I don't know. I don't know how they even felt doing this. And they are not the only one, because only in 1 week we had 3 cases like that. Three. One is a 5-year-old girl that was also flogged and she died. And the other one, 1 year and 7 months, he died. The other one got so kind, he did not die, you know. And the one that did not die, the teacher was even telling the parent that yes, this is how they train children, that her child is not the only child that she flogged, and that she will continue to flog them even if the child comes to school the next day and does the same thing, that she will still flog. Meaning that I see it that many people feel that because that they are teachers, this is what they are supposed to do, always flogging children. And I don't know. But what do you think? What is your take on this issue of teachers flogging children to the point of death, as in to the point that the child had to die? What do you think about this? I'm not seeing your comments, so am I the only one on this live stream sef? So please share me out, guys. Share me out, because today we have interesting topic. We have interesting topic. So we are just waiting for our guests. So that is why I just let me bring up this issue. Let me just bring up this issue. Let's talk. You know, because I don't know how someone will feel. You flog a child 1 year and 7 months. Does that child even have anywhere to flog? That child does not even have anywhere to flog. Mhm. Okay. Mm. That's why I don't even have anywhere to flog, so I don't know. Mm, mm.
Can you? Oh yeah, finally!
Hi,
I've been
yes, my
waiting since.
friend.
I'm like, I've been waiting since. I'm like, add me backstage. So
Eh,
that's fine.
I just saw it now. I didn't even get the this that you are. I
I've
thought
been
when you
waiting
said you are
since.
backstage, so when you say you are backstage, I thought you said you are maybe as in you are backstage doing one or two things. You are not yet prepared. So that is why I didn't even know that backstage is
Oh,
backstage. Thank you so much. My guest is here finally. Thank you. Sorry, it's my mistake.
no
English matter.
problem.
Sorry.
Thank
You look
you. Thank you
amazing.
for
Thank you so much
having
for
me. I really
honoring my
appreciate.
invitation.
Thanks
Every
for
day
the
matters.
invite, and you look good as well.
Oh, thank you. I want to be like everyday matters. Last week she came live and she was looking kiki. Thanks so much. So how have
Exactly.
you been?
That's important. I'm good. I'm good.
Okay,
How have you been yourself?
I'm good. Amazing. Thank you so much for coming. So straight to business. Um, before we
Okay.
start our today's topic, I was saying something about what happened a few weeks ago. So what is your take on it?
What
Can
happened a
you hear
few
me?
weeks ago in relation to? Yeah, I can hear
What?
you. What happened a few weeks ago in relation to what? In
Yeah,
relation
in
to
relation
what?
to um teachers flogging kids to the point that they had to die.
Oh no. Oh, I'll say before I even start, I know, let me just, whatever I'm going to say, like, I don't want people to say, oh, you're an African. Why are you talking like this and that? But, there's a cultural thing, especially, back home where we're coming from, the African, there's this mentality that, okay, before you train the child or before you instill discipline in the child, you have to beat the child, you have to cane the child. And, this doesn't really work. I'm telling you, and I'm talking from experience. I know that's why I said, okay, whatever I'm going to be saying, I'm going to be basing it on research. I'm going to be basing it on studies. So I don't want people to come for me and say, oh, you're an African, you're not supposed to say things like this. So most of the time, that beating, it doesn't really work. There are other approaches or other methods that you can use. Like what you said in relation to what happened a few weeks back, I saw it. And we're talking about the child is young here. Hello, I hope I'm making sense. We're talking about a younger child. And I'm like, just like what you said, I was backstage listening to what you're saying. I don't know. Young children, what do they even know to the extent of you now, beating the child like to the point of you can see the marks and all that. And the last few weeks that you said, it was a lot of things that happened, not just that one case, other
Yeah.
cases as well. And we're talking about, it involves younger children here. They're young, for God's sake. Hello, these children are really young. And that's why I do say to people, and most of the time I do say to my students as well, not everybody can be a teacher, not everybody can be an educator. I just hope, I'm making sense. But back home where we come from, the African, oh, maybe you finish from the university, there's no job, and the job that is there is, oh, you can be a teacher. Not everyone can be a teacher. You want to be a teacher, going through rigorous trainings. There are some skills, there are some characteristics that is expected of a teacher. One of the characteristics is patience. Okay, you have to be patient. For you to say, okay, you want to be a teacher, you need to be patient. Like, they are coming to you for a reason, is to shape their lives, is to instill discipline in them. And you're going to be seeing, because like the children, they are young, if they're growing up, there are some behaviors, but there are ways to go about it. And sometimes, some of these teachers, they are frustrated, because they're frustrated. They just look at, okay, who can they just, whatever happened to them, they just want to lash out. And can you see that case that you said, that little child, what does the child know? I think maybe the child, where the teacher was asking the child a question and the child wasn't able to answer, and then you think the best thing is to bring the cane or whatever and start to beat the child. Would that make the child to answer your question? Would this solve the problem? So,
No.
a lot of things has to be done in relation to being a teacher. Not everybody can be a teacher. It takes a lot for you to say, okay, you want to be a teacher. But like I said, okay, back home, because that's the job that is available, everybody can just jump in and say they want to be a teacher. And if you see that, the country that we're based, you are based in Germany, I'm based in Ireland, you can't just wake up one day and say you want to be a teacher. No, it doesn't work that
No,
way.
not possible.
Rigorous training, the skills that is expected of you, a lot of things that you have to learn. But, like I do say, not everybody can be a teacher. I think I will stop there.
Hmm. I think so too. I think so. And or that is why I'll bring in my first question, which is, who is an educator? Can you hear me?
Okay. So I would start by, yeah, I can hear you. Who is an educator? That's your first question. I would, just because of our time, I would not have the time to go into details in relation to who an educator is, but I'm just going to, summarize it. Who I think is an educator. Okay, let's consider the word educator. The word educator means someone that wants to do what? That wants to educate. You want to
Mhm.
educate. So for you to decide to be an educator, you would have made up your mind that you want to educate. So it depends on the area that you want to educate. Like, my area of expertise is early childhood. So if you're saying like you're an early childhood educator, so you've made up your mind that, you want to educate young children. We're talking about, the country that I'm based in, Ireland. We're talking about children from, birth to six, but it depends on other country as well. With other country, their early childhood is from, a birth to the age of 8. So for you to decide that you want to be an educator, you've made up your mind that you want to educate, you want to instruct, you want to shape the lives of young children. If you're an educator in the area of early childhood. So an educator is someone that, educate. So, and what do I mean by you educate? The skills that the things that whether you've learned it, through rigorous training, and this is what you're being told. Okay, like for instance, as an early childhood educator, okay, this is, you're focusing on the holistic development of the child in the area of early childhood. So you've already made up your mind that for you to be an educator, you're going to be educating younger kids here in the area of early childhood from birth to 6 years. You're going to be instilling discipline in them, focusing on their overall development. So in a nutshell, an educator is someone that educates, someone that instructs, someone that trains, you're training. So, but it depends on the area. Like my area is early childhood. Okay, so it depends on, whichever area that you feel that you want to be an educator.
Okay. Mm. Okay. Okay. So I was saying that for me, I think an educator is a co-parent to the child. But I pick from what you said, and I believe you. And truthfully, I understand. So the second question is now, what is the role, as in, what is the role of an educator in the society? I know that is similar to the first question, but I there's one point that that I'm actually looking for. So I really want to know, what is the role of an educator in the society?
Okay. So, like I do say to people, like I do say to people that, the family make up a society. We as a family, individual, we make up a society. So we're talking about the role of the educator in the society. So the role of the educator in the society will be to shape their learners, to shape the lives of their students, to, and even also as well, like as a parent as well, you are an educator. Okay, so let's really let's break it down now. most
Mhm.
of the time people will think, okay, an educator is, somebody that, you went for training and you're an educator. Parent as well, you are also an educator. With a lot of policies that have stated that parents are the primary caregiver of their children. So the learning starts from the home. Okay, so like
Mhm.
the educators, like the teachers, the childcare workers, we're just there to build on it. So that's why the role of parents as well is also really important. So even talking about the educator, I'm not going to leave the parent out as well, because the parent, to me, they're educator as well. And it's really important, parents as well, they need to understand what this role requires. Okay, like when, like some parents, if oh, my child goes to school, the teacher is in charge, the educator is in charge. You as the parent as well, you have a role to play. You are an educator, and then your role is to do what? To shape the lives of your children. So educator, their role in the society will be to shape the lives of children, to shape the lives of their learner, to shape the lives of their student. Okay, and in return, if they were well able, to shape the lives of their learners, their students, their children, what's going to happen in the society? The society is going to thrive. Okay, the children will be able to, flourish whatever they're doing in the society. We have a happy society. So one of the characteristics or the roles of an educator is to do what? Is to shape the lives of their students. Another role of the educator is to do what? Is to also bring out the creativity skills, to bring out creativity skills in the lives of, their children, their learners, their students as well. And I'm going to be linking research, because most of the time when I'm talking, I would always back it up with research. So it will not just be, oh, I'm just, making things up. Okay, so research has proven that, when young children are born, they are born with creativity skills. So from the pregnancy stage, for most of us that were on this live stream, I believe, we're parents, and soon to be parents as well. So immediately from the pregnancy stage, okay, then when the child is born, the child is born with creativity skills. It's been proven by research. So when a child is being born, the child is born with a lot of skills. But hear this, okay, before the child will be able to thrive, okay, the educator will have to do what? Bring out the creativity skills, bring out the skills in these children. This is what research has proven. Okay, let's say for instance, okay, my child is born with, the skills to socialize, the skills to make friends, the skills to use their fine motor skills, the skills to use their brain, and so what? So what happens if someone has something? They need to what? They need to make use of that thing. Because if it's just like, for instance, if you have a talent, if you have a talent, you're not making use of your talent. You're saying, for instance, oh, I can sing, I can sing, I can sing, and you're not practicing how to sing. You're not training your voices. What's going to happen? It's to get to a point that you won't be able to sing. You'll be like, oh, what happened to my voice? And I used to be a great singer. So the same thing with the children as born. They are born with creativity skills. But we as the adult, the educator, we have a lot of role to play. I think she's gone. Is she gone? Can everyone hear me? You left for a while.
My network.
You left for a while.
Today that today, this network.
Okay, you're back,
Sorry.
because I'm just like, am I the only one talking? Okay,
The
so
thing
like I
just
was
went
saying,
out
like,
and
I'll quickly
back
round up
again.
so you can. I know, because I noticed I was the only one. I was like, what happened? What's going on here? So, like I was saying, the children are born with creativity skills, but we as the educator, as the parent, as the adult, we have a lot of role to play. And one of the roles of the educator is also to do what? To bring out the creativity skills, to bring out the skills and the group of children. And another role of the educator is also to do what? To promote the development of the child. Okay, as the child is growing up, as the student or as the learner, they are growing up, it's also the role of the educator as well to also do what? To also, help in training up the children, help in making them to realize their potentials in life. We all have potentials, okay? The children as well, they all have potentials as well. But it's up to the educator to do what? To be able to bring out, this potential in the children. I'll cite an instance. For instance, if a child is growing up and, you as the educator, you were able to pay closer attention to the child. You find out that the child is creative. The child likes to be creative. So what are you going to do? You don't want that skill. You don't want that talent to die. So you as the educator, what would you do in that kind of situation? You want to help that child, nourish that child to be able to bring out that creativity skills. And that's what we see today. Those that you see that they're doctors, that they're nurses, they're lawyers, that they're teachers, it starts from somewhere. Okay, I would use myself as an example. I remember, growing up, like I've never even thought about maybe when I moved, to abroad. When you're growing up, you will never know maybe you're going to move to abroad or something. I remember growing up, what do I used to do? I would gather small kids, like small children in our area. I would gather them, singing songs with them, teaching them, cultural dance and all of those. I remember so active in the choir as well, singing into drama and all of those. And, my parents were, they were encouraging me because they saw it, the skills in me. Then I was always part of, okay, being involved, making, gathering children around me, wanting to teach people and all of those. So why am I saying this? It doesn't just start when I came here. I'm like, oh yeah, I think I know what I wanted to do. It
Mm-hmm.
started from growing up. So the same thing with the
So it
children
was
as
so
well. The
easy, right?
educator, one of your role is also to do what? Yeah. So the educator as well, one of your role is also to do what? Develop the skills in the children, develop their talent, whatever they have, help them. If you see that a child is good in this area, it comes to the parents as well. Because I'm trying to link you to what you're doing in your channel, parenting series as well. It's to the parents as well. Your children, when they are growing up, you'll be able to see their talent, you'll be able to see, what they are good at. And it's not just for you to just say, oh, I noticed my child is good in this and all that. It's a sign. You need to do what? Start building up that child. I remember somebody was telling me, the person is an engineer now. He was telling me that, growing up, when he was growing up, like maybe something in the house, like, all this toy laptop or something, if his father just buy it for him, he would always dismantle it. He would just pieces it and put it together. So this guy was telling me that was when he was younger. So his father did what? His father noticed this straight away, and his father was encouraging him, giving him things to dismantle and put together. And now the person is an engineer. So he was just saying that, his father was able to quickly, notice this is what he was good at, and they didn't just let it go like that. They were encouraging him, helping him in that area. So the role of an educator as well is also to bring out the potential in the children. Because let me tell you something, because when you bring out the potential in your children, your student, your learner, the society is going to thrive. We would have less of, the children that are constituting nuisance into the society. If everybody is, like this one, you're busy, you're doing something, you're hardworking, you can see the potential, you can see what you have. The environment, the society is going to thrive. Everybody will be, will be so happy in themselves. They will feel fulfilled that, they were able to, fulfill their potentials. I think I will stop there.
The network is even just is doing, I don't even understand today of all day, but it is well. I don't understand because
Okay.
sometimes the thing will just take the two of us out and bring us back again. I don't know.
Oh,
So
oh no.
if you are, let me use from what you said about you when you were younger, bringing little children together to teach them. So if I should say, is it better for anyone who wants to be an educator to, first of all, yes, I understand that some people cannot even know what they want to be until they are older. People discover themselves early, while some discover themselves late. Some never even discovered themselves, But so, as an educator, is it okay? Is it better to start to discover yourself early than to just wake up one morning and say, okay, this is an opportunity for me. Maybe you come to the abroad, like here in Germany, you look at the way situation is, and you say, there's money being an educator, let me just go and be an educator. Even though you go through this process, all the process, because here in Germany, if you want to be an educator, it will take you like 5 to 6 years to study it, because you have a lot of classes, examinations to go. Now, after this, are you still saying that it is better to discover yourself early than to just wake up one morning and say you want to be an educator and go through all these things?
Okay. So what I'm going to say is, like for instance, for those that are based in abroad, everything is process. You can't just wake up in the morning abroad and say, oh yeah, like island where I am now, we use this to, for example, you can't just wake up one morning and say, yes, you want to be a teacher. It doesn't even work that way. You have to go through,
Yeah.
like rigorous training. You have to, there are lots of process. There are some things that, you have to do and all of that. But what I'm going to say is, you would have to first of all, like, think for yourself. What do you want to do? And for you to even find out you're going to maybe be an educator, like for instance, you have to find out what are you good at. Okay, what are you good at? Some people, they are good at, talking to people, admonishing people, whereas some people, they like children. So their own could be okay, they just love young children, they love to be around them, this and that. So if you now find your passion, okay, if you now find your passion alone is not enough. I hope I'm making sense. Passion alone
Okay.
is not enough. Then you have to go through what? You have to go through rigorous training. You have to be trained. You can't just wake up like like some countries I know, like maybe for it's like I said, this example that I gave, in some African countries, you don't even have to have a qualification in teaching. You could finish your school SAT and said, oh, because there's no job or you want to work for a few years, oh well, I'll just apply to the school down the road and you get a teaching job.
Yeah.
And that's why you see sometimes you see the things that are happening is bounce back
Mhm.
to a lot of people don't they are not even trained in the area. They don't know what it is to be a teacher. They just decide, well, that's the job available, I'll better go for it. So like I was saying, if you now find your passion, that okay, this is what you love to do, then you have to go through rigorous training, because you need to be trained on how to go about delivering your job, how to go about doing this. If you think, oh, it's only your passion, well, I'm good at public speaking, I want to be talking to people, it doesn't work that way. You still need to go, get trained, get trained, get trained. And I do say this to my students as well. Even though you're getting trained, you need to also find out which area do you want to work. For instance, if you look at early childhood now, early childhood is broad. So you need to yourself, is it kindergarten, is it preschool, is it the crash? You need to find out that area, because for instance, here in Ireland, early childhood is from birth to the age of 6. And I do say this to my students, you need to decide for yourself, is it children from babies up to the age of 3, or is it children from the age of 3 to 6 that you want to work with? You need to identify the area. And I've seen in the past, some of my students will say to me that, oh, they don't want to work with babies. It's not easy to, like babies, if they are crying, sometimes you wouldn't even know what is wrong with them, this and that. So they said they believe, oh, they want to go with like kindergarten, the preschool children. So it's just all about, first, like I said, finding your passion. Okay, yes, I love working with young children. That alone will not keep you. Okay, then you need to engage in rigorous training. And another thing is, if you want to be an educator, you have to engage in a continuous learning. You have to be a lifelong learner. You have to be learning all the time, constantly learning. Like I do say to my student, I'm like, you're studying, I'm also studying myself. Don't think, oh, because Florence, you're a lecturer, oh, that's fine, you know everything. And I do say to them that nobody knows it all. I don't know it all. It doesn't mean, oh, because I'm teaching you means, oh, I know everything. I might actually learn from you as well. So just to answer your question, first you have to identify your passion. Do you love working with young children. And I do say to my student, it's not just, oh, because I love working with young children, I want to work with children. That alone will not, will not keep you. And you need to engage in rigorous training. After engaging in rigorous training, seek the experience, gain experience in the area to be able to see, okay, actually, is this where I want to work? Because sometimes, you see some people say, maybe I love the job that LES Matter is doing. I think I'm going to do the same thing. Hello? Don't think, oh, because LES Matter is doing this, you think it's the best thing, you want to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
What if what if you're not even going to last? Or is it because you're seeing LES Matters from afar and say, oh, I love a job, this is something that I want to do? You need to go and try it as well to see if it's actually something. Like there are some people that, let's talk about young children now, they can't stay with the children for like 5 or 10 minutes. They'll be screaming. They'll be saying, oh, no, don't sit on that table. Don't sit on that chair. Don't do this. Don't do that. And is it that person that wants to go and work with young children? Or is it that person that wants to be a teacher? So you can see it's not good. It's not going to work out. You have to have that patience. You will know. And it's not easy. Like I do say as well, we're not talking about early childhood, younger kids. You see the children, they want to run around, they want to do things. And you can't just be shouting and nagging and be giving out, oh, no, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. Don't. So it's not just about, well, I think I love children. And sometimes some people, maybe when they move, to another country, and they see that's the job that is available, they will just say, okay, oh, this job is available, let me just go for this job. I think teaching job, oh, it's a job that is raining now, let me just go for it. Passion is really important. You need to have passion for it. Seek the experience to see if it is something that you would like to do. And jobs are not rosy. Don't let us be deceived. Don't say, oh, teaching is the best job, I think it's fine, there won't be any problem. Every job has its ups and downs, but what will keep you is the passion that you have. Like Lady G said, the passion that we have is the one that will keep you, even though if it sometimes it doesn't look rosy, you'll be like, oh, I love this job. This is where I see myself. This is something that I love doing. There's some people that you see public speaking is not their problem. They can speak from now to tomorrow 10 hours. It's what they love to do. And some people, they can even say, oh, public speaking, even though if they're not paid, they can just do the job. So it's really important. Okay, identify, okay, do you love working with children? Your passion, engage in training, and seek the experience and continuous learning, lifelong learners. You have to keep up to date with things that are going on. Like, for instance, educators, things are changing, policies are coming up, and the only way you can keep up to date is by engaging in continuous training. You're a lifelong learner. I think I'm going to stop there because of our time. Victor
Yes,
Amaka
because of
has a
our time.
question.
Yes, but she has not asked her question. So why we wait for her to ask her, because she has not. She said, I have a question, and this is a problem to me, though I'm
Okay.
still working on it, but I think it's not. So she has, okay, she just said, my question is, I want to know the best way to control anger because my kids scatter my head sometimes and I feel like blowing their brains out, but I end up blaming myself and my dog. Good for you that you blow yourself and your dog. So, so basically, her question
That
is that she
question,
has
Victor
anger
Amaka,
issues. Yes.
I know. I've done some videos on, managing your angers. I'm telling you, it's not easy with children. Let's be sincere with ourselves. I'm not going to come here calling white black. We are, most of us on this, on this live stream now, we're mothers and we know what it is. Sometimes, like, the children, and sometimes they want to test your limit. The children, sometimes when they see that you're going to give in, they would always try you, do things. They'll say, don't worry. I know when the woman will shout and shout and shout and shout. So in that kind of situation, Victoria Maka, what I'm going to advise you is, if something, so it's a time for you to re-strategize. You have to re-strategize. So the tactics that you've been using before, it's not working. Okay, am I right in saying this? So it's not working. So you need to look for another way of going. So let me tell you something. This is just, a practical example that I'm going to give to you. If something happens, sometimes you just have to take a deep breath. But most of the times we just react immediately as the thing happens straight away. We just react, we shout, "You this child, you this boy, you this son, you this girl." We just react straight away. Sometimes you just have to do what? Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath to assess, the situation. Look at the situation, what has happened, later on when everybody is calmed down, you could have a talk with the child. Okay, let the child see the reasons that, okay, your actions, what you did there, what do you think of it? Reflect on it and say, okay, for instance, let's say if a child is talking back at you, for instance, if a child is talking back at you, you could kind of like, take a deep breath and talk to the child and say, no, you can't be talking back. You need to show, like, have a sign of respect. Okay, you could use a scenario like tell the child that, okay, if someone is talking back at you, how would you feel? So most of the time, like, even if you look at it, shouting is not even good for, health wise. I'm telling you, it's not good for health wise. And the children, sometimes when they know that you would always shout every time, they'll say, oh, don't worry, we'll do it again. We know they will shout after some time.
And
And
I've
you'd
always
always find out
shouting
that maybe the
before.
shouting will not even solve it. Yeah, like what Victoria Maka said, even the shouting sometimes might not even solve the situation, and you still see the problem is still there, is still happening. So in your own scenario, you have to re-strategize. Okay, what am I going to do next? It could be, maybe you want them to do something, for instance. Okay, maybe you want them to do something. You could say to them, okay, tell them ahead. Okay, like, let's say for instance, now let me use this as an example. Okay, let's say for instance, now a child is, watching a TV show or something, and then you can see that the child is so much, engaging in it, and the next thing you as the parent did is you took the phone away from the child. So what do you expect the child to do? The child is going to what? The child is going to give out a lash out. Let's put ourselves in the child's shoe as well. This is where empathy comes in. The word empathy, putting yourself in people's shoes. So how will you feel? Let's say, for instance, a talk with Richie, you have your phone in front of you, and the child wants to just take the phone off you. How will you feel? You're going to feel bad. You're going to say, oh, LES matter. Why would you take? And you can even slap me. You can even slap me and say, why would you take my phone away from me? This is my phone. Why would you take my phone away from me? You get what I'm saying? But in that kind of situation, like if you want them to do something, you can say, okay, now in the next 30 minutes, this is what I want you to do. This is what I'm want you to do. And just like Lady G said as well, punishment. I know she said something about punishment, but I'm going to say, like, in the era of early childhood, we always focus on the positive behavior of the child. We're being told to try to stay away from, like punishing the child, giving negative consequences. And I'm going to explain, I'm going to explain why I said that. So, like, for instance, Victoria Maka, maybe if there's something that you want the child to do, so try to catch the child when the child is doing that thing without you even saying to the child to do that thing. Let's say, for instance, that you want the child to tidy up their room. This is just an example. You want the child to tidy up their room. So catch the child even without you telling the child tidying up the room, and the child is doing it. Reinforce the behavior. You can say to the child, oh, Tommy, look at your room, so neatly done. Well done. I didn't even expect you to clean your room. Wow, you're the best boy. Oh, because you did this, I'm going to give you 5 euros. I'm going to give you 5 pounds. So you can see that initially you were not the one that told the child to tidy up, but the child did it. And then you were able to reinforce the behavior, because most of the time, the children want to see you. It's just like we as adults as well. Look at when I came on the show, a talk with Rachel said, oh, you're looking beautiful. And I said the same thing, she's looking beautiful. That was my compliment. Okay, without me even saying, oh, a talk with Chichi must give me compliment. You gave me compliment. So the same thing with children. Anytime you see them doing something that you want them to do, but without you telling them they did it, reinforce the behavior. So this is what we call positive reinforcement. Okay, reinforce the behavior and say, well, look at the way your room is neatly done. Okay, because you tidied up your room, you're going to okay, pick where do you want us to go? We can go for a treat and all that. So you understand that will really work. Okay, and just like what Lady G said as well, you let the children know that there will always be consequences for their behavior. Okay, you talk back at me, this is what is going to happen. They let them know the consequences. They know already. Because if you don't tell them the consequences, that's why you see them, they misbehave. Like even in the society, we have rules. Like in Germany, in Ireland, you can't be driving and you're throwing tissue paper on the road. If you're being caught, you know what's going to happen. You face the law. So the same thing with the children as well. Let them know the consequences of their actions. You do this, this is what is going to happen to you. You misbehave, I'm going to take your phone away from you a day. You misbehave, you're not friends. So they know ahead of time. You're telling them. And let's be sincere with ourselves. Sometimes it might be you're not doing this before, but you need to start now. You need to start now and say it's all about having a rules, having rules in your home, for instance, and say, okay, well, if you do this, there's always be a consequences. And you always say to the child, the ball is in your court to choose whatever you want to do. If you do this, this is the consequences. They themselves, they will know because you've already told them. And sometimes it's all about, standing and most of the time, as parents, we give in. Let's be sincere with ourselves, especially
Yeah.
mothers. We have that, that emotional feelings that, oh, we're attached to the child. And sometimes the child will know they will be playing with us. Like, for instance, you're saying to the child, oh, put your phone down. And then the child, oh, mommy, can I have extra 20 minutes? Please, mommy, please, daddy. And then you say, oh, fine, fine, fine. The child is going to come tomorrow again and do the same thing. Oh, mom, please, extra 30 minutes. Oh, I love you, mommy. You're the best daddy in the world. This and that. You give in again. So, when are you going to be consistent with your rules? So you have to be consistent. I know, let me tell you something. Sometimes, as parents, there are some things that we do. Like sometimes as well, there are some things that I do with my children. I'm like, I'm being a little bit strict. I shouldn't have done that. But I'll quickly, if there's sentiments, if sentiments want to step in, I'll quickly just, throw away face and say, well, I have to do this. I'm doing this. Even though sometimes it doesn't sit in with me, but you need to let them know, because in the society, we have rules in the society and we have to abide by the society. For instance, if you're going to the post office, if you want to go and post something, are you going to go and jump the queue? You can't, for where? Even though if you're rushing, you can't jump the queue and say, oh, somebody is at number 1, you're number 5, you want to jump. You can't even do that. You have to stay. It's better for you to say, well, I'll come back out. So the same thing with the children as well. They need to know all of this, learn the rules, because as they grow up, they are going to face this in life. They have to, they have to abide by the rules. And it starts from home, it starts from the school as well, to be able to teach the children all of these skills. And then when they grow up, they will be used to it already. Okay? Yeah. That's it. So Lady G said, I will
Like,
give it immediately, especially that they are beautiful faces. I'm telling you, sometimes that's why it's just you ignore, you just quickly say your own, because it's true. Like I said, especially mothers, emotional feelings. Oh, my son, he's crying, the face. Because if you continue to do that, they're not going to learn. So
yes, my daughter learned that recently. Though, though I will say that I'm even the one that taught her how, because I will tell her, when I told her, if you need something, you say, please, I need this. So this little girl of mine, when she needs something, even when I don't want to give her that thing, you will not hear, Mommy, please, please. She'll be doing her two tiny hand like this, Mommy, please. And with there's a way she will just make her face, Mommy, please. If I don't want to give her that, I'll say, yeah, go now, go and take, you know. And next time she will still come back. And if I say no, she will come back and say, Mommy, please, I want, Mommy, please. So today I just looked at her. I said, whether you like it or not, if you like, this house will just collapse here, heaven fall, this thing, I won't give it to you. And she was saying, Mommy, please. I said, I will not give it to you, because I now found out that she's using it, because I taught her, if you need something, you say, please. Now she's using it against innocent me. So I really understand you when you say that they want to use that their beautiful face, according to Lady G, to tempt you and say, okay, you will say, oh, yeah, you now take and let me be. And if you don't give it to them, they will keep disturbing you. Seriously, we don't have time anymore, but I have two more questions for you, and you will really have to
you don't
answer
have time. And
very
just like
fast.
what Lady G said, just for
Mhm.
like what Lady G said, Lady G said, I don't get mind though. Lady G, you must have mind
You
though.
have
I'm
to.
telling
You
you.
should. Yes, you should. You should.
because, and again, just like
Sometimes
what
if they are crying,
everyday matter
I
said,
just
everyday
ignore.
matter said, okay, just like what everyday matter said, they learn from school also. So there should be that
Yeah.
consistency. There should be that consistency. It's not they are doing different thing in school, they are doing different thing at home. There should be that consistency. In school,
Mhm.
like if their teacher is saying, okay, time for lunch, break is over, they are not going to say to the teacher, oh, teacher, can I have extra 5 minutes for my lunch or for my
No,
to play? No. So, Lady G, you
no.
just have to have that mind. And just like I said, excuse me, you're training them for the future. Don't even look at it now. This they are going to leave you, they'll move on to the university. So it's what you've already instilled in them that okay, time factor is really important. This is what you have to do. You have to tidy up after yourself, you have to do this, you have to. And let me tell you something. It will not sit in with them, but later they are going to come back and say, "Oh, and I remember this training. Though my parents were very harsh." You know, most of us now, when we were growing up, I'm sure most of us we grew up in Africa. We know those training from our parents now. You know, you
Yes,
know the way
now.
our parents are so strict. You are not reading your book. You come back from school, you are not reading your book. You just go and eat,
Yeah, in
finish.
2 minutes.
Immediately you finish, they want you to read your book. Do we even have time to do we have time to play? They want you to read your book before you go to bed. You will be playing, you see your parent, maybe you are even outside, you're playing, you see your mom or your dad coming back from work, you quickly run inside.
Exactly.
Sorry. And those training there, they were very harsh. You know, those training, but is
Mm-hmm.
what is helping all of us today that is keeping us. Look, our parents are not here with where is the training that they've instilled in us that is helping us that we should remember the daughter and sons of who we are. We should not misbehave. We should not take what does not belong to us. We should not lie, steal, all those kind of things. So, you know, those training were harsh then, you know, but it's what
Mm-hmm.
is helping us today. So the same thing with the children as well. All of this training, it might be hard for them now, but in the future, they will definitely send prayer to you that, oh, I thank God for my parents that they were able to train me and all that. And we can't leave everything to the school. We can't say, like, for parents, now we can't leave everything to the school and say, oh, the teachers will help me train my children. The teachers can help you train
No,
your children. They don't know
no, not
they
possible.
don't know your children more than you do. You gave birth to these children, so you have to be the one to train them. Nobody will do your job for you. So learning starts from the home. Okay, I'm going to stop there because of our time.
Yeah.
We
We
go.
don't have time. I really, oh my God, I really, I had
We
two
don't.
interesting topics that I wanted you to answer, but we don't have time. And I promised that I was not going to stay long, and I want to keep to it. I'm so sorry, but I really
Yeah.
I wanted you to answer this question, but we don't have time. I don't know if you have time, like maybe extra 10 minutes, please. Okay, so this one is
Yeah,
very
that's fine.
important.
Extra 10 minutes is fine.
Yes, please. This one is very important because considering what we talked about before about flogging kids in Nigeria. So here there is this course that is called something therapy before you become an educator. So I want to know, is it something that it's really, do you recommend this for anyone who wants to be an educator? Do you understand the question?
Think
Oh,
it's a good
network.
training as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good training as well. Can you hear me?
Yes. Oh,
Okay,
network.
it's a good training as well. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, it's a good training as well. And the reason why I said it's a good training as well is like even link it back to what is happening in Africa now. You know, the teachers, because of they have anger issues, you know, and they need themselves, they need anger management. Like I do say on my channel, you can't give what you don't have. So we're not all perfect. So you need to be able to identify the area that you need to work on. So like that area of like therapy or something, I think it's a good area as well. It's not even for your job, it would also help you. Like
Mhm.
everybody, we all need therapy in one form or the other. When we're stressed, sometimes when I'm stressed, I'm just tired. we need that. It's not even because you want to be, before you be a teacher, you want to engage in therapy or something. It's good for us as well. Breathing mechanism, just have a time, alone time to yourself. You breathe in, breathe out, reflect on what has happened. How are you going to go about it? If something of such happen in the next time, how are you going to deal with it? So it's a very good one. I think it's a very good one, and I like the way they so it would be nice if they roll it out to other countries. So like here in Ireland, we don't have something like that. People
Mm,
individually, like
okay.
some teachers, if they feel that they need it, they can go for that kind of training or something, but which is a good one. I really love that.
Okay. The next one is, can you give us just three characteristics of an educator, something for us as a parent to look out for? Because when we take our kids to school, we have something to say, okay, this person is like this person is like this person I believe can take care of my children. And also, yes, just answer this one and let's go.
Okay, so for the first characteristics for me will be patience. Okay, you
Mm-hmm,
need to know, is your child's teacher patient? Are they patient? You would know now. Maybe for instance, you want to talk to them, you're saying, oh miss, can I have a word with you? And then the person say, oh no, they don't have a time. Or even if you're talking to them, they are not maintaining eye contact, they're looking elsewhere, you would know that, oh, this one is really, you would, that, because the patience is really important, to be able to listen to the parent, to be able to listen to the child. And you see sometimes, especially, back home in Africa, you see some teachers complaining about, like, young children. Yeah, they're complaining. We all see what's going on social media. You're
yeah.
complaining, oh, the child can write. And how old is this child? You're saying the child can write. You're not even patient with the child. You've not, you only did it like once or twice. You're like, oh, the child is supposed to be writing one now. The child is supposed to be writing two. I'm like, where is your patience? You have to be patient. So it's really important. One of the characteristics of educator is the person have to be patient. Okay, and another thing is the person have to have passion. Just like what Lady G said, passion for the subject area, genuine passion for the children, genuine passion for your job. You love your job. You're so passionate about your job. This is something that you want to do. You feel that there's a need. If you have not, like, you feel that, oh, there's a need, that you so much passionate about your subject area. You really love it. And another thing is, another characteristics is, the educator needs to have empathy. And what do I mean by empathy? You need to be able to put yourself in people's shoes. Put yourself in the child's shoes as well. For instance, if a child is crying, you're not going to say, oh, is it because your mom or your dad left you? That's why you're crying. They're going to come. What's wrong with you? You've started the crash since how many months? You're supposed to get used to it. You have empathy. If the child is crying, you need to go over to the child and say, oh, don't worry, your parents will soon be back. They went to work, they'll be back shortly. So that's what empathy is all about. Putting yourself in people's shoes, feeling the child's pain. If a child is crying, maybe the child has a headache, you should not say, well, we've administered paracetamol now, you should be fine.
Mhm.
So you just say, oh, the child is pretending. There's nothing wrong with the child. The child just don't want to do work and other. So for me, because of our time, patience is really important. Empathy is really important. And you also need to be passionate about, your area. You need to really love what you do.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. So, in 1 minute, what is your take on spare the rod and spoil the child in 1 minute?
Oh, my take on spare the rod and don't spoil the child. It's just all about what we've been saying since. Because if it's in the Bible, if you spare the rod, you spoil the
Yes.
child. So that's why, like I said, sometimes, even as parents, we give in to the children and say, well, you just look away, you ignore. Don't, because the little things that you're ignoring every day, you're like the saying, and little drops of water makes a mighty ocean. So if you think, well, I will ignore, I will not do anything like that. So don't spare the rod. Okay, because if you spare the rod, you're going to spoil the child. But what I'm going to say is, it's not all the time, like, especially back home, that you think, flogging will solve the job. No, no, there are some other
Exactly.
techniques, there are other approaches that you can use instead of, like flogging the child, like positive reinforcement, telling the child the consequences. If you do this, well, this is, if you don't want to listen, this is what I'm going to do. And they would learn, especially taking away what the child likes. No child wants that. If you say to the child, oh, because you misbehave, you're not going to have this, you're not going to, they don't want it. And when you put all of this, it even works much more than flogging the child and telling you. Because and there are some children that they are well used to flogging. They will say, well, if you flog them, oh, don't worry, it's one of those things. So yeah, that's it. I'm telling you.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate. See, this topic is something that I have wanted for a very long time, for us to really sit down and discuss it very well. And I'm happy that you really did justice to it, because a lot of things are going on in this education sector. So I really, really appreciate you for coming, and I appreciate every one of you for coming. Everyday Matters or Marker Victory, you and your daughter, you guys should try and sort yourself out. Lady G's channel, I'm sorry for not greeting you this, but I see you. I really appreciate Sharon and the family. Busoma
I'm telling you,
Baria,
she
yes, I
was
saw
really
her before.
active. Lady G was
Thank
really
you.
active. Lady G was really active. She kept the conversation going. Well done, well done. Thank you,
I'm
Lady
telling
G. Thank
you.
you.
Thank you
And
so
thank you,
much. I
everyone.
really
Everyday Matters.
appreciate.
Everyday Matters is saying,
Thank you.
Everyday Matter is saying, very well done, ladies. Thank you, my friend Busuma.
Thank
Thank you for coming
you.
as well. Busuma
I
said
really
resilience is
appreciate.
also very important, and the growth of any child develops differently. I really enjoy the LS. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Busuma, for
Thank you
being
so
part of
much.
it. Thank you, everyone, for coming. I really appreciate you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
And if you've not gotten my book on Amazon, thank you, A Talk with Chichi, for buying
Yeah.
it. I didn't even know you bought my book.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So my book
I
is on
almost finished
Amazon.
it.
My book is on Amazon, a practical guide to early years matter. So
Yeah, see
please,
you
yeah,
guys.
thank you so much, Lady G. She said, thank you, host and early years matter. I really enjoyed this topic and I really learned a lot. And thank you for your contribution. So go buy my book on
Thank you
Amazon.
so
You're
much.
going to learn a lot. And thank you so much, I Talk with Chichi,
I'm telling
for
you,
having
I'm a
me. I really,
witness.
I really
Yeah.
appreciate you bringing me on
You're
board.
welcome. You have a lot of things packed here. So thank you everyone. I really appreciate you. And please follow up this parenting series, because we have lots of people coming up for this series. So please follow up, because this series is a very important one for us as parents. Please, parenting is not easy. So we have to help each other. You scratch my back, I scratch your own. So please follow this series, and I see
Mhm.
you all next time I come live. Bye. Have a blessed week. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone. Thank you for having me. Bye.